All right. All right, everybody. So I'm going to start. There will be a couple people joining us as I go along. But pretty much what I wanted to talk about today was how to run a general body meeting. And this will probably benefit. Hey, Ray, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Okay, so yeah, so today I was going to talk about how to run a general body meeting, which is kind of funny because I was never actually a president of a movement exchange chapter, but just from, hearing from you guys a lot and seeing Adele run these webinars and just watching my chapter president run her meetings, I can see from experience more on the other side of what I think would be most beneficial for running a meeting. So I think every meeting should start with attendance. So, you have your list of all of your members, you have your list of everybody who said that they maybe couldn't be there because of doctor's appointments or things that came up or rehearsals or classes or whatever. And then you have your people who don't show up for no reason. It's like their unexcused absence. And I think that's really important to keep track of. And I know that some of you guys have been starting to develop point systems. I know for sure Taylor from University of Texas, Austin, she has a point system. Western, do you have a point system?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Does anybody else have point systems?
We have one for our board members.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to be asking Western as well as University of Texas, Austin, what exactly those point systems are so that I can kind of like take it in. Of course, you can tailor it to your chapter and however you see. Hey, Madeline, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Sorry, that took me. I was on like the wrong thing and like couldn't figure it out, but I'm good now.
No, it is all good. I was just talking about implementing a point system for attendance. So, every chapter I know is like unique, but I think having kind of like a universal point system would be beneficial just to keep people accountable for whether they are coming to your meetings or not. So first off, general body meeting, a greeting, and then attendance, and ideally it should be the secretary the secretary position who is taking attendance. So they should have a spreadsheet with everybody's, first name, last name, email, and then like the accumulation of their points, and then whatever other information that you might need from them as you're getting closer to exchange. You're going to need like their passport information and whatnot. So just them having a spreadsheet, and every single time them taking attendance. So then I think it's really important for the executive board to, Taylor's here. Hi, Taylor.
Hello.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Oh. Cool. All right, so next I think it's really important for the executive board members and the president to give everybody who has done a good job like a congratulations. Like, hey, last week we accomplished this, this, and this. Like, Ray, you were a rock star because you did this. Like, just lift everybody's morale. Like right when they get there, and then that gets them excited to be at the meeting. So I'm going to take this time to kind of tell people what they've been doing great jobs at. Nia isn't here at the webinar, but she just started, she went on the Brazil Open Exchange, and then she started a movement exchange chapter at her college this year. And within the first month of school, she got 10 people to commit to going on an exchange. So I thought that was extremely impressive, and it was unlike, like the rapidity of that was unlike anything that I've seen from any other colleges, even the more established ones, even the more established chapters. So whatever this magic she has of like talking to people and getting them excited. I wanted to talk to her more about that because I think that's awesome that she got 10 people to commit super fast to the exchange. Western Michigan University. I'm not just saying this because I used to go there, but you guys, you have it. I mean, your chapter is huge, and you are doing so much community engagement. The Instagram countdowns, like, really cool. I really like that. So chapter size, just like presence on campus, it seems like you guys have a really strong presence in the department and on campus. You guys are doing a great job with that. UT Austin, Taylor, I think you're doing an awesome job on social media and like keeping people engaged and coming up with unique ideas like that grant writing party. I was like, that's so fun and like cute. And like, seriously, if you put party after anything, people are more likely to come. And your little, your dance challenge, your Instagram dance challenge, I don't know, like, if that's for this Saturday, but
we're starting it tonight, I think, and it's gonna be like 48-hour like donation challenge thing. Yeah, I need to work on that after this, but we filmed, like, we had our general meeting today, and we filmed like a video of all of us doing like a little like 20-second piece of choreography that one of our members made up. So
that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I think that because you're a super new chapter as well, and you got the opportunity to come to the conference, but it's like even now I'm seeing like new ideas from you, and also in your posts, like I'm the kind of person who I think like sense of humor can go a long way in like keeping people engaged and interested, and I think you do a great job with that, like having a sense of humor in your voice and your posts that makes people be like, yeah, okay, like I'll do this. Or like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll come to that. Like that sounds fun. Yeah. And let's see. Oh, IU, nobody from IU is here, but they are having like a whole Move to Change weekend. So it's super, they're doing something similar to, they're doing something similar to what we do at the conference. But, you know, they're having a breakfast and like an all-day workshop on Saturday, and they're turning it into an entire weekend. And branching off of that, UCSD, they're doing an entire Move to Change week. So they have like cultural workshop or lecture every day during the week. And then on the weekend, they're kind of piggybacking on the campuses, their campuses, other events that their campus was already having. I'm echoing with someone. If you're, could you guys just mute yourselves, please? Thank you. Yeah, so UCSD is doing an awesome job with connecting with their own campus and piggybacking off of events that are already happening. So that just makes like their presence in their department, on their campus a lot stronger. And it's like, you don't need to necessarily, I mean, it's great that a lot of you guys are creating your own events, but if there's a conflict, like if it's homecoming or if it's, you know, midterms week or whatever, it's like, you don't need to make something separate from that. Like you could be like, oh, it's midterms week, let me do like a relaxation, like yoga, de-stress for midterms workshop. Or, oh, it's like homecoming weekend, oh, we are gonna do a flash mob on campus. Do the flash mob like in the middle of tailgating, you know, like that. It's like you already have an audience, like you break out and dance and like everybody's, you know, having a good time, they're going to love it. So I liked that as well. And UCI, I mean, you guys are doing a great job. Like you guys came back with so much momentum after the exchange, and you're doing a great job on social media, on your events. So good job to everybody, and keep using the President's Facebook page as a way to ask each other for advice, because using each other, it's like that's almost your most powerful resource, is like reaching out to each other like, hey, I'm trying to do this, like I'm trying to work it out with this and this office, and usually you guys will like know exactly what to say to each other. So after that part of your general body meeting, then I think it's a good idea to open up the floor for questions. And questions for me, and also I have a question for you guys, is I'm constructing a more kind of, I guess like, I'm kind of trying to pre-delegate the executive board jobs and their roles a little bit more clearly, and collecting all of the templates that person might need and all the resources that person might need. So are there any resources that you feel like are lacking, or things that you would like to have at the beginning of the year to kind of like give to your peeps so that they know the best is going on? Does anybody have any requests for that?
I think a timeline for like our treasurer in regards to like, what time do we need to start doing this for the Panama Exchange? Like, how many months out does this need to be occurring? Because we're kind of like, is it time to start this yet? Or can we wait a couple more months? And then we're like trying to just figure out, like, I guess the timeline we're unsure of.
Cool. Yeah, we were actually going to make two different kind of options for people who are an established chapter, or for chapters who start in the fall and are going on an exchange in spring or summer. We're going to have a whole like how to plan your exchange in like 6 months. Like 6 months before, you should be done with this, this, and this. 3 months before, you should be done with this, this, and this. 1 month before. So awesome. I'm glad that you said that. We're kind of in the process of doing that. And for the treasurer specifically, other than, you know, the, oh, everybody's $500 deposits is due 2 months before, we need like, you know, the flights. Is there anything else in particular that you would like to have the treasurer have from us?
I don't think so. I think one thing that we're also, well, at least for us, because we have so many people and we're thinking about sending people to Brazil too.
Yeah.
We're always looking for other grants that we can apply for, but I think that's more specific to individual chapters. So it's kind of hard for you guys to like give information on that because it's kind of like a regional thing, but.
True.
Yeah.
True. Well, possibly we could possibly, you know, make a folder of like, oh, grants that like Western has gotten in the past, and maybe you guys could like insert your own stuff in there, so that could be a resource that you could always go back to. So that's a possibility that we could do as well.
Could we make like a spreadsheet that like all the chapters could add, like every grant they've applied for, gotten, didn't get for whatever reason, maybe like we could all like add information to it?
Absolutely. Cool. So I have the spreadsheet of all the grant information for all the chapters. I have the timeline for the treasurer specifically, but really just for anybody preparing for a Panama exchange, or any other requests. No. Okay, so now I'm just going to open up the floor for if you guys have any other questions or concerns or need advice for anything that you're going through with your chapter right now, or plans for the future. Anybody?
Can I ask a question?
Adele's right there.
To you guys that will maybe spark some, hey guys, you've been something before. How have your meetings been going so far? What's been like, if anybody has something that's been going really well during their meetings this year? I know UCI last year, they started doing like meetings in a circle, and that really helped like boost morale and like get everybody together. But does anybody have any like little things that they started doing this year that maybe have helped kind of bring the group together?
This year we've started breaking into groups for our like different outreach locations every meeting, which we didn't do last year, and it's been really nice to like just to be able to, for like the people who are in like the general chapter, not necessarily the exec board, like feel a part of what's going on because they're helping to plan what we're going to be doing in the outreach. And then it's also good for like building community within the chapter, giving like the people that are going to the same schools or whatever, like the opportunity to communicate and like get to know each other, not just when they're teaching. So that's
Cool.
nice.
And even like, I know you guys have like a lot of locations that you're working on, you're working at, and it's like great to break up into those groups. But for some of our smaller chapters who maybe are only working at one location, make committees for something else. Like make a fundraising committee, make a dance class committee, make a community outreach committee, or like a Panama committee, right? So make committees for each thing, because like Kylie was saying that, right?
Yep.
Like Kylie was saying, you know, it helps kind of bring people together and make general body members feel like they're really part of the team. And it'll probably help kind of take the load off of the executive board too.
Cool. Now. Anybody else have anything? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Speak now, speak now, speak now. Okay. Nobody's speaking, so I'm going to move on. Oh, wait. Madeline's speaking. Come on, girl, tell me.
No, I was going to say that we have, well, at the beginning, because I know a lot of the freshmen to come, they have a class before it. So we were really good about, like, food and providing food to get people, like, hey, because a lot of people would be like, no, we have to eat dinner, and, like, we don't want to show up.
Yeah.
So we did that a couple times. And then we've been doing a lot of Zumba at, like in the middle towards the end of our meetings. We usually hold our meetings in the studio, and that gets people pretty like pumped and like, oh yeah, like dancing's fun. So that's been pretty like useful. And then we draft our flash mob that we're doing this weekend on Monday. So we're actually doing it tomorrow morning. So I'm excited.
Cool. Well, what time tomorrow morning? What time tomorrow morning?
I'm like 10-ish, I believe, is when we're doing it.
Oh, wow.
Notes about food. I know most schools, if you're a student, you can apply for funding, I think. I know a couple of people can. So if you want to apply for food, you can definitely apply for food. And it's like the main on board for your. Sorry, my words are red light.
I have no idea. Okay, so all great ideas. Anybody else? No. All right. Well, then after you open the floor for questions and whatnot, then you can set goals based on these questions, and as well as like the goals that you have like pre-prepared for the meeting. So and then you can like delegate them to specific people or to specific committees. And then after you delegate these goals, then you can be like, all right, everybody, like break up into your committees, like break up into your groups, like everybody who's volunteering at like Boys and Girls Club, like make sure you have this, this, and this. Everybody who's whatever. And then that gives everybody a chance to talk amongst themselves. So right now, I'm going to talk about just like new stuff that's been going on, and just to remind all of you of dates and things. So this was in the monthly updates that Adele sent, but the blog post. So the blog post that it's like, oh, like it's due every, I'm just gonna ask random universities to write them, and they're gonna be posted every 15th and 30th of the month. And Alyssa from UCI just posted one, and it was really nice. But I think since when you guys are here and you write them, they're mostly about, you know, reflections of what you're going through while you're here and whatnot. I just want to remind you guys that the ones that I'm asking for now, they could be literally anything. It could be like, yo, I just watched this super awesome, you know, YouTube dancing video. I'm so passionate about the hip hop scene in LA or North Hollywood, or like, oh, like this review on this Paul Taylor piece that I just got to watch in New York City, or you know, it could seriously be anything. I'm kind of like, my goal is to make the blog something a little bit more more than just exchanges. You know, I want it to be your guys' voice at school, like your personalities, who you are, not just on exchanges. I mean, I think it's absolutely great that like we have that super, we have kind of like the platform for you guys to express yourself while you're here, but it's like you're a very multi-dimensional person with many different interests, and I want you guys to be able to feel like you can express those and that you still have a platform to do that. And other than the ones that I like, you know, assign, anybody, if they feel like they wrote like a really awesome paper or a really like nice poem or anything like that, you can send them to me. You can send them to me whenever you want.
Or I think it was somebody from GMU, I don't remember who, but somebody's doing like their research paper on like, you know, dance and community empowerment and service work, something like that. So if you guys are doing any like research papers or any like assignments for class where you're like, damn, this is cool stuff that like I think everybody else
other people would like,
even if it's like a review on a ballet that you saw, like send it in. Heck yeah, we want to know what's going on in the dance world. So anything goes.
Anything goes. So yeah, that's the word on the blog. Also, UCI got to do this, and Madeline, I'll talk to Brenna about this, but we've been starting this new thing, our Instagram takeover, which pretty much I give you the username and password for the National Movement Exchange Instagram, and I have you guys like make the live videos or the story, the live ones, for your event, because it's like we have such a large audience on our, you know, national Instagram, then it's like I still want all these people to know that there's stuff going on everywhere. So that's the deal with that. So if I message you and I'm like, hey, do you want to do an Instagram takeover? That's what that is. So yeah, that's that. And so for running the general body meetings, we have, you know, the PowerPoints that you can utilize if you have more formal meetings or if you have them in a classroom. And we also have in the chapter handbook, we have the kind of like guides for each month that it's like different ideas, or like this month you could have everybody, you know, post on Facebook like the hashtag why dance or whatever. But in Adele and I's monthly updates, we're going to be giving you kind of more goal-oriented monthly tasks rather than monthly themes. So that's like in the works right now. Hopefully by next year it will be a lot more, I guess, it will be a lot more clear. So for example, like last month, September, October. Yeah, in September, and like it's kind of been seeping into this month, like having all of your members gather 2 contacts and send them to us. And so like, you know, and then in November, we'll be giving you the task of presenting Movement Exchange to 2 different departments on your campus. And then in December, you know, it will be like each month will kind of be more goal-oriented rather than like just the themes of October's move to change. And it's like, okay, cool. I really like that idea. but it's like, how can I be more concrete about how I'm making this happen? So that's how that's going to be going for the rest of the year. And a couple reminders. November 1st, the Memorandum of Understanding is due. So if any of y'all are chapter presidents, which I know y'all are, you can just give that a little sign and send it on over to us. And if you don't have the link, it's either in Adele's monthly updates, or I'm going to be putting the link again in the notes that I send you. And then November, there's also Giving Tuesday, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. And Adele did a nice little strategic plan for y'all. So it's pretty much a timeline of what to do exactly. She's great. She's a heaven from angel. I mean, angel from heaven.
I like heaven from angel.
Heaven from angel. So I really like when she creates these, because it's not just like, okay, well, like Giving Tuesday is this date and like this is kind of what you do. It's like, this is exactly what you do. This is the date that you do them on. So it's like, it's almost like in syllabus, like a syllabus, like when you have a class, you know, there's no question. It's just like, oh, this is what I do. And you can write it in your little planner and you're good to go. So I'm going to be sending you guys a link to that as well in the notes. And I'm also going to be sending you a link to the monthly reports in the notes. And just to remind you guys, monthly reports are due on the 1st. I know things are crazy. I mean, when I was in college, believe me, I was taking 1 million credits. I was working. I was dancing. It was cray. But I'm also going to be making in the future like a little bit more simplified, so it's not so it's not like, oh, like this is going to take me 20 minutes. It will be like, okay, this is going to take me 10 to 15 minutes, and I can just do it and be done with it. And then it's just like, it's just nice because it gives us an idea of what's going on with everybody. And then if someone needs help with something or whatever, then we can like jump in and help you guys. But if we don't really know what's going on, then it's like we can't really help you. And the monthly reports are just a really good way to gauge, you know, what's going on with y'all, if you guys are good, etc. And also, WMU had a great idea of presenting to me like, hey, is there a way that, you know, people in my chapter or on my board can ask like the national organization questions? And I was like, huh, like that's kind of funny, because like in my head I'm like, well, you guys can just email Adele or I whenever you want. But also, if you don't want it to be like, oh, like I want it to be anonymous or whatever, we also created a Google form that you can fill out as well, it out as well. So if you're a chapter president, make sure that you tell your chapter members that Adele and I, like anybody can talk to us. It's not like we are limiting our communications only to chapter presidents. So anybody can reach out to us at any time. I would say just make sure that they communicate what chapter that they're from, so that like we have a better idea. But if they want it to be anonymous, I also have a form that they can fill out to do so, and that is attached in the notes as well. Let me see. So, well, that is pretty much all I have. Adele, do you have anything else?
I have a question for you guys. So as we're trying to like streamline things for all of you guys and hopefully make things easier for you and for us, to kind of, I know at the very beginning of this, Bella was talking about how we're trying to like kind of create a document that has more of like delegated tasks per executive board member. So I kind of want to ask you guys, I'm going to take a look at our handbook right now to see exactly what we have in here in terms of people, like in terms of executive board members. I'm looking at that one. But I wanted to ask you guys which you think are like the most useful and what you think might need to be omitted or added to that list. Yes. So right now we have president.
Important.
We're gonna keep that one. Don't worry. Vice president. How many of you guys, we can see your little baby pictures. Raise your hand if you have a vice president. 1, 2, 3. I think it's just 3.
Or co-president. I think the vice president, co-president, interim president, like whatever that is, I think that's pretty vital. Less in the president needs support. It's like, of course the president needs support, but to have that position of preferably an underclassman for the president to be training.
Yeah. How many, for those of you, either side, for those of you who have a vice president or for those of you who don't have a vice president, do you think it's super necessary? Do you not think it's super necessary? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, we found it pretty vital having a vice president, especially with the size of our chapter. Because basically I have kind of taken over our like local dance service and that kind of thing, and like overseeing all of that, and Madeline has kind of taken over overseeing like Panama and fundraising and like grant like the more logistical side of like exchanges and like international stuff, as well as all like the organizational stuff that goes into being a president. So I guess just having so many places that we're involved in with dance service, that has the role of president has definitely needed to be like
expanded.
shared, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Yeah, that's definitely true, especially with the size of your chapter. Does anybody else, I'm curious to hear for you, Kylie, for WMU, do you guys, I know you said that you have like committee heads. I think you guys are the ones who have like somebody who's in charge of each location, right?
Yeah, so we have our executive board members, and then we also, when we place everyone in a service location, we look for a team leader, and sometimes that is a board member, sometimes it's someone who's gone on an exchange previously, and sometimes it's like an upperclassman that we know would do a good job with it. So basically it takes the stress, because I think we're in 7 locations right now. So it takes the stress off of us, and it gives someone else the responsibility of like contacting those people week to week and being like, hey, what's our plan for this week? Make sure you get there at this time, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's interesting, because the next one on our list is local outreach director. So I know from what you said, you've like kind of taken like the head honcho out of organizing everything and overseeing everything. Do you guys also have like a local outreach director?
Yeah, and that's an essential role for us.
Mine are in my car.
Like, mute yourself.
Andrea, she's sending it back. Oh my God, sorry, I took myself off mute.
So that person is in charge of facilitating background checks and creating like the master schedule and meeting with the different like places, and like our outreach director gave a presentation today for all of the preschools in Kalamazoo. So she does things like that, and she's in charge of like emailing the directors of the programs, that kind of thing. So and then I make sure that she has the support that she needs and help her with anything that she needs, like kind of she like reports to me. if that-
Yeah.
Yeah, you like manage
totally,
her. Yeah.
totally. I mean, that's a huge part of the job as well, for sure. Like vice
I can't hear you.
/ local outreach position, local outreach director.
I didn't hear what you just said. We say it
Oh,
again.
does anybody else want to speak on vice president versus and or local outreach director?
I think that's a good idea. Go for it. You go first.
Okay. We have a local outreach director and no vice president. Well, I mean, we're also brand new, so we kind of just like set stuff up this year. But our local outreach director does like, I feel like a lot of the stuff that you were talking about. She coordinates with our 2 like service locations and with the volunteers that are going there. But we also only have 2 places, so it makes it a little bit easier. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So I think, you know, it also depends on like how big, how many people you kind of need to put on the job. But yeah.
Ray, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think it's really helpful to have a local outreach coordinator, just because when I was president, like, or even now, like, I can't keep up with everything, and I feel like it's really helpful to have someone, like, our board member positions are a little bit different, and I think it's really helpful to have someone who's, like, in charge of that and communicating and setting it up, because then, like, me and Brittany can go and facilitate, like, okay, like, who's actually gotten their paperwork done and who's going to be teaching next week, and it just helps, like, not being responsible for everything else. Like, having someone else work with us on that this year has helped us to actually, like, set something up and go through with it and start teaching classes.
Yeah. Yeah. Word. Okay. Then the last 2 we have, thanks, Ray. The last 2 we have are fundraising director and marketing director. So the fundraising director is like, I think before we used to have treasurer, but now we've cut that position and just have fundraising director. Do any of you guys have both a treasurer? Jamie at WMU, UT Austin.
We in order to be like a part of our like registered student organizations on our campus, we have to have a treasurer. So like the roles kind of like interchange a lot, but like someone's specific role is treasurer, but they kind of just collaborate all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do you find that that's necessary? Or do you think?
I think they can, like, it's very interchangeable. Like, they just kind of text every day type thing.
Okay.
But we just have to have it for our school to be like a student organization. We have to have a treasurer.
Yeah.
So.
We have a similar thing. We have to have someone that's like solely responsible for the bank account. And so I don't know, like we still don't have that set up. Like it's been like such a process, like figuring out how to set up a student organization bank account through like the university and stuff. And then we actually have 2 fundraising directors that like are working together. One of them that's like better at like more the logistical stuff, and one that's like a little bit more creative for like thinking of like, you know, creative fundraisers we can do. So I guess we really have like 3 people that kind of do like money stuff, which is kind of a lot, but I don't know, they're all useful. So
yeah, I think like they could even have like take on different roles in the way that like the treasurer could be 100% just in charge of the bank account and the money and
maybe like making sure everybody's stuff is in for Panama or whatever.
Yeah, like more kind of like what Kylie was talking about with like the president being in charge of more like Panama stuff, and then the vice president being more in charge of local stuff, in the way that the treasurer could be more in charge of the like Panama money, and then the fundraising directors could be like, oh, I need to rent this space for this time on this day. And then the other like, you know, fundraising like committee or whatever can be coming up like with the ideas and making the posters, getting the banners printed, getting the flyers printed for the actual fundraisers, like for the fundraising events.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost more like an event planner rather than like the treasurer's in charge of the money and the fundraising directors are in charge of like the events, kind of.
Yeah, totally. That's an interesting one. Okay. Yeah. The last one is marketing director. Does anybody, I think most people have a marketing director. Who doesn't? Who's
That is Diane.
Hi, Diane. Sorry.
Glasses.
Yes, with the glasses. How's that going? Do you feel like you need a marketing director, or do you feel like it's okay without one?
I think we've been doing fine for now because our organization is pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
And our exec board is we're all dance majors, so we talk to each other a lot. And we end up just like transferring information between each other all the time anyway, and kind of share the positions anyway. So any marketing stuff gets taken care of like in our weekly meetings.
Do you have like one person who's a designated like social media person, or is it still kind of like?
Well, we have a social media chair, and then like a co-chair who's kind of being trained for the social media for next year.
Oh yeah, you guys are doing that. That's cool. Okay. Does anybody have any comments on a marketing director?
Madeline.
Yeah, me.
Okay, no, I was gonna say, I know like for us, we obviously have our president, and then we have treasurer and our secretary, and then we have other people, me being one of them, like kind of shadow them and stuff, which I feel like at this point everything's of like everyone's helping each other with everything, which is kind of okay. We have a little bit of smaller to like handle it, but and like I know like we still delegate a lot of things like accordingly and whatnot, but like right now it's kind of, I think we need to definitely like figure out a way to make it's a little bit more consistent, like who's doing what and stuff, rather than figuring it out at the moment. Like, hey, can you meet this person, or can you let them know if there's a meeting this week, or stuff like that. And then we need to figure out a little more consistency, but right now, like we've been able to manage it well though.
Yeah. For sure. Cool. Thank you for your
Thanks for sharing. WMU, wait, WMU doesn't have a marketing director?
No, we do. Yes,
Oh, you do? Oh, okay. I was like, how are you making those bomb Instagram posts with no marketing director?
Yeah, no, our marketing director does all of that. She's awesome.
Yeah, social media queen.
Are there any does anybody have another position that I haven't mentioned that they think is super vital?
I talked about secretary. I think secretary should be a position. I think secretary should be in charge of taking attendance, like taking notes during the meetings, just recording all of the tasks that everyone needs to do, the due dates that everyone needs to do, and making sure that concrete like dates, times, etc. is getting sent to everybody. So taking all the notes, and for the people who can't be there as well. So taking all the notes and then like shooting it out to people.
Yeah.
So like, you know, they can support wherever's necessary, but just like super vital, I feel like during the meeting to just have that person like getting every detail and making sure it's relayed.
Guess who the secretary was for our
You?
Yeah. I love secretary. That's my favorite job. Does anybody else have any additional positions that they think would be helpful? Maybe you don't have one running now, but you think it'd be helpful. Yeah, Hillary.
Yeah, right now, well, our board is like pretty small, so we don't have a lot of the other positions, but we have like an events coordinator. So she's in charge of like reserving the space for our events and like making sure that everyone's like where they're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one. That was kind of what I think
There was, yeah.
Yeah,
Alluding to.
That's a good one.
Good one, ladies. Good one. Digging it, loving it, loving it.
Yay. Cool. Thank you for all of your feedback.
Thank you for sharing.
Do you have any other questions?
I have one. How many people of mine are here? Because Jamie, we're doing our East Coast interchapter collaboration that nobody has really been sending Jamie their videos. So if you're on the East Coast, take a little vid, won't take that long, and hit it to Jamie.
Can I interject? Can we expand it past the East Coast?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, okay.
I know it's kind of last minute, but I can whip up an iMovie in an hour. So if anyone wants to join, what we did is
I'll shoot it at everybody. So essentially, Armani, the president from Barnard, she made a small piece of choreo, and our idea was that people could either take a video. It's really easy to learn, so like learn the choreo, and then either you can take the video with the kids that you teach, or you could take it in front of like a monument that is unique to your city or your university. And then Jamie was gonna go ahead and splice them all together to make a like dancing across the USA, like look at all the places where movement exchange is video. And I think if we want to expand it to everybody, Jamie, if you haven't received that many videos yet, let's extend the due date. Like Move to Change days in like 2 days. Not everybody has enough time to do that. So let's like, we can make it an interchapter collaboration more for the end of the semester rather than for Move to Change Day. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Also for our chapter, at least, like we had like a whole residency going on this month, and I had a concussion. It was just crazy. But we did it. Yeah. I just bad. But whatever. Anyways, it took us like 15 minutes. We like recorded a bunch of times. We did like. It's a really, guys, it's like 4 counts of 8. It's really like simple, fun, like everyone can dance, like party fun dancing. And it took us like 15 minutes. We recorded outside, and then like we recorded it with our students that we also teach. And it was just like, it's something that you can do really fast and just be like, all right, everyone meet at this time, come for 15 minutes, and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
So
it's fun. It'll be a cute vid. And I have like more in-depth instructions and explanation of all of it, so I'll just forward that all of that information onto all of you guys. So interchapter collaboration down. Cool. Adele, do you want to say anything?
Thank you guys for jumping on the call. It's good to see some new faces and some ones that I recognize. Woohoo!
Yeah, nice meeting you, Diane. Yes. Diana or Diane? Diane. Noah. Cool. Noah. All right. Well, now and one last recommendation for general body meetings. WMU probably knows this, but as like you become more established, I think it's good to just, instead of asking people like, oh, what's a good day and time that works for you? Once you become more established on campus, people are going to be making their schedules more around you. Like I say this because on Western's campus, we had a hip hop company that was like very, very strong and prominent. And everybody's like I was like, I'm not going to schedule a lab Tuesday night because HHC is 7 to 9. Like, once you become a very prominent force on campus, like people will make their schedules around you. So if you just kind of start trying to make something super regular, so every Friday at 4, it's just going to be every Friday at 4. That's just what it's going to be. And I think that works more for the more established, or even as you are like becoming established, the more consistent you are, the more people will schedule around you. So that was my last recommendation. Thank you all for coming on the call, and we will see you next month, 3rd Thursday of the month. If it's Thanksgiving, I'll reschedule it.
Good job.
All right, goodbye, lovely ladies. Mwah.